Alrighty, we are live on this Halloween Friday night. Spooky night for the New York Knickerbockers as they lose 125 to 135 to the Chicago Bulls. Yuck. What's going on, Knicks Nation? Tough one tonight in Chicago. We fall to the Bulls, and man, I mean, this kind of leaves like a weird taste in your mouth, right? I mean, not because of the loss itself, but because like we're starting to see some early cracks in this new era of Knicks basketball, right? Mike Brown coming in, new system, starting to see a little bit of some early cracks within this new system. Look, we're only 5 games in, like new coach, new system. Players in and out the lineup. Mitch back today. Deuce back today. Yabu back today. Right? I'm not hitting the panic button just yet. I know a lot of the fan base will. I already see you guys in the chat. But I'm not there yet. But it's too early. But we need to point some things out, right? We definitely need to point some things out. Look, Mike Brown is still figuring out what works. Right? The Knicks want to play fast, right? He has always preached, play fast, play fast, play fast. But let's be honest with ourselves. Their roster isn't built for that. Their roster is not built to play fast. Tonight showed that clearly. I mean, the Bulls, they're what the Knicks want to be. Fast, efficient, connected. Every cut, every extra pass. In my opinion, they look like last year's Pacers team, in which the exact team in what gave us issues and trouble. And New York just couldn't match their pace when they sped up. And as you see in the third quarter, the pace slowed down. And that's when the Knicks got back in the game. Fourth quarter, some big shots. 3 straight L's for the New York Knickerbockers. Defensively, I thought the Knicks were a step slow all night long. The Bulls movement, the constant cutting, quick decision making, guys, from the Bulls had our defense scrambling. And look, it's a concern 5 games in. It's a concern, but when the game slowed down in the third, suddenly we look better, right? That's telling. That tells you everything. This team, that they don't have the personnel to play fast. They don't have the personnel to match the Pacers of last year, to match the Bulls, man. 5-0. The Chicago Bulls are 5-0. That's no joke. Still early, right? Look, OG, bright spot. Mikal, bright spot. Big fourth quarter for OG and Anunoby, both hitting threes. OG drawing a charge in the fourth quarter. We'll talk about it. That kind of, I thought, was going to lead to a run, doing all the dirty work, but Josh Hart, guys, I got to be honest, man. I don't like what I'm seeing from Josh Hart. He doesn't seem comfortable in this new role off the bench. His body language hasn't been great, right? Tonight especially, there's a few clips out there of his body language, him at the end of the bench, frustrated. And that's okay. It's okay to be frustrated. New role, right? But it hasn't been good. He hasn't seemed comfortable. And it's almost like he's not fully bought into what's being asked of him, right? And that's a concern, right? It's not like effort. It's we're missing that Josh Hart energy, and it just feels like something is off with Josh Hart. Feels like something is really off with Josh Hart, And I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned that he will not be bought in to his bench role because Josh Hart was a starter here. Josh Hart loved Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau loved to play Josh Hart a lot. At times, it was a detriment to this basketball team. So the New York Knicks brought in Mike Brown. Josh Hart has not looked good besides his first game against the Boston Celtics. He just has not looked the part. He's still dealing with the injury with his finger. And he came into camp re-injuring that finger. Remember that. $20 million player Josh Hart, he's not playing like a $20 million player. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that much. Again, still super early. 5 games. Let's not get too crazy. But it just seems off with the Josh Hart experiment off the bench right now. So, and I see Josh Hart is the one that's getting the slings and arrows. All he does is drive. He doesn't shoot. All he does is drive and kick. He catches the ball. There was a play in the third. Jalen passed it to him. He passed it. I mean, he drove. He was open for a 3. Drove to the basket. Kicked it out. Jordan Clarkson had to take a tough 3. That's all Josh Hart does right now is drive and kick. And it's frustrating to watch him play right now. It really is frustrating. And it sucks because it's going to take time with his new role, and he's explained that. And I will give him the time. I will give him the grace for that. But look, this game was nasty, man. This game was nasty all around defensively. And, Knicks lose their 3rd straight game. 3rd straight game for the New York Knickerbockers. Appreciate every single one of you guys in the chat. Once again, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate the members in here loud and clear. El Figgy, what's going on? I see everybody in the chat. How we feeling, Knicks Nation? How we feeling? Because it's not right now. I'm sure the vibes are kind of off if you're a New York Knicks fan. And look, give credit to Josh Giddey, was killed the Knicks all night long, man. Incredible game from him. Controlled the pace, made smart reads for the Chicago Bulls, and punished the Knicks' mistakes everywhere on the basketball court. I mean, look, bottom line, the Knicks weren't getting good looks early. That didn't fall. And their offense just looked disjointed at times. The effort and the effort on defense especially just wasn't there. I mean, the third quarter was really promising for this team because Karl-Anthony Towns seemed like he got into a rhythm in that third quarter offensively. That's promising. But right now, as Knicks fans, we're just picking at quarters, right? We're picking at certain quarters to build upon. And when you're dealing with a new system, new coach, that's what you can do. I mean, you pick at the second quarter last game. You pick at the third quarter tonight, right? So where do you guys think it's kind of off with this New York Knicks team? What can still be fixed? And are there concerns, or are there, is it just a little bit of an overreaction that, look, it's 5 games in, new system, new coach, it's going to take time? At some point, yes, that's the cliche thing to say, but there are still cracks in this new era of Knicks basketball, which are concerning. And Josh Hart is one of them. Hit some of your comments. Once again, appreciate you guys in the chat. Coach Sierra, what's going on, Coach? Appreciate you guys in the chat. Isaiah says, not good, man, not good. D Black says, get those likes up. Appreciate you, D Black. Once again, appreciate you guys in the chat. What's the point with Clarkson and Gershon? Look, I tell you this right now. No Josh Hart in the fourth quarter, by the way. Right? No Josh Hart in the fourth quarter. No Gershon, right? In the fourth quarter, by the way. Did we see Gershon in the second half? I don't think we saw Gershon in the second half. I don't know. I could be wrong regarding that. But Clarkson, it's hit or miss, man. This bench is kind of what we're seeing 5 games in is this bench, this newly revamped Knicks bench. And yes, it's still early. There's some cracks in it. There's some cracks in it defensively. And if one of your top players in terms of leaders on this basketball team and the heart and soul on his basketball team is not bought in on that bench unit and in his new role off the bench, that is a problem. That is a problem. That's not going to solve itself, right? That's not going to solve itself. Maybe time will solve it, but from the jump, Josh Hart in the beginning of the season, you could tell he didn't like the bench role. He kept stating in the media, "I'll do whatever it takes for the team to win, but I think I'm a starter in this league. I've obviously earned it, this or that." So he's always letting you know that he should still be starting on the New York Knicks. And he's definitely not playing like a $20 million play for this team right now. And it has hurt them over these last 3 games. So hit some of your comments. Appreciate you guys in the chat once again. Disrover. Josh's finger makes him complete non-shooting threat now. Yep. Exactly. Josh's finger makes him a complete non-shooting threat right now for the New York Knickerbockers. It's nasty. 125-135 is your final score. Right? Let's zoom out in this. ESPN changed their stats, by the way. Points are now to the left. So, OG Anunoby was on fire for the New York Knicks. Got the Knicks back in the game with his threes in that fourth, right? 26 points from OG. 20 points from 22 and 10 from Karl Anthony Towns. 23 points from Mr. Mikal Bridges, the newly revamped Mikal Bridges. He looks phenomenal. I want to see the New York Knicks just continue to feed him because he just seems like he's awesome this year. Keep giving the ball to Mr. Mikal Bridges, please. Lights out shooting from 3. Lights out shooting from mid-range. He's been phenomenal all 5 games for the New York Knickerbockers. Mitchell Robinson is in his return. 6 offensive rebounds, 4 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists. Right? Fatigue was a factor for Mitchell Robinson. Clearly huffing and puffing, not in game shape. Jalen Brunson, 29, 7 assists, 12 of 25, a little bit inefficient from your captain. Mitchell Robinson on a lob there in the I believe it was the third quarter that I couldn't believe. And your stinky bench, right? I mean, it's the bench right now. McBride in his return, 8 points. Clarkson, 6 points. Yabusele, 3 points. Only 3 minutes for Yabusele. Yeah, so he didn't play in the second half. 3 minutes for Yabu. I wonder if he re-injured that knee, which is not what you want. Josh Hart, 15 minutes, 0 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 block, 2 turnovers. 1 turnover, no blocks. 1 assist, 1 rebound. I was looking at Clarkson. Not attempting field goals. Didn't do what he does best, rebound the basketball tonight. Just a blank space out there. Just a net negative for the New York Knicks right now. That's a concern. Right? And you have to get him engaged. This was a video from Stephon Bonnie in the game. Josh Hart, I want you guys to look at this video. Knicks are in the huddle. Everyone is in the huddle. Besides number 3, Josh Hart. And Stephon Bonnie says, feel for Josh Hart. Another rough game, and it has to be frustrating given injuries. Look, yeah, I guess I feel for him, but come on now. You get paid $20 million. You can only feel so bad for somebody that's getting $20 million a year. You got to play better. Right? You got to play better. So look at him. I mean, I don't like this in a sense because the vibes just seem off with him. And when an important part of our team, whether you like it or not, he is an important part of our basketball team. When he is checked out, that is a problem. That is a problem for this New York Knicks team. El Figgy says Josh Hart shouldn't play until he's healthy, and Kolek should not play. No Tyler Kolek. You know, it seems like he was out of the rotation. 4 minutes tonight for Tyler Kolek. Only in the first half. 4 minutes for Kolek, 3 minutes for Yabusele. Still figuring out this system, but 5 games in, there are cracks in it, and there are concerns. Right? The easy thing is to say, and look, it's the truth. Like, it's only 5 games. I'm going to give it time. Mike Brown said you have to give it at least a month. And I agree. You have to give it a month, and then we'll figure it out, right? We'll see where this team is at. But the Chicago Bulls, 5-0, playing fast. Again, they remind me of the Pacers team, and the Knicks had problems with teams like such. They had problems with teams like this. Josh Giddey was awesome for the Chicago Bulls. Awesome for them. They're getting contributions from everybody. Herter coming in and doing his job, knowing his role. Dosunmu has been awesome for them. Patrick Williams knowing his role. Jalen Smith with his energy for the New York Knicks. Josh Giddey, 32, 10, and 9, bro, against the New York Knicks. Almost a triple-double. Almost a 30-point triple-double from Josh Giddey. Vukovic killed him. There's something going on in Chicago. Like we suck in Chicago, but they kicked their asses. These guys are a really good bunch. Really good bunch. El Figure says Vooch outplayed our bigs. Yeah, 26, 5 defensive rebounds, 2 offensive, 7, 10 of 17, timely threes, 4 of 8 from 3. Right? The Knicks finally hit threes tonight. Bulls were 17 of 37, 45%. The Knicks were 18 of 45, 40%. That's good. They just couldn't stop anybody. You gave up 135 points to the Chicago Bulls. They couldn't stop the pace. They couldn't stop the motion. In that third quarter, that's where you saw the New York Knicks start to gain a rhythm because the pace slowed down. Karl-Anthony Towns was getting to the free throw line, right? And you love to see that. Hopefully he can build off of that. That's some positives in tonight's game, right? But they got to the free throw line in that third quarter. Knicks were in foul trouble in the fourth quarter. That killed them in the penalty. So I'm trying to get, I'm trying to gauge the fan base right now. Like, what are you guys feeling? Are you guys concerned? Are you guys like, hey, it is what it is. It's only 5 games. I'm going to give it a month. But there are concerns in this within this Knicks unit right now. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Once again, smash that like button, subscribe to the channels. D Black says that Pacers comp is on the money. Appreciate you, D Black. Exactly. Appreciate the support as always. Thank you for the super chat. That's what I was thinking on when I was watching this game. Constant ball movement, constant guys cutting, constant rotationals with rotation switches on the offensive end for the Chicago Bulls, constantly finding mismatch. And obviously it's led by Josh Giddey. They reminded me of the Indiana Pacers tonight. So they're a good bunch, man. And another pain in the ass team. So far we've gotten the Bulls. We've gotten licked by the Chicago Bulls. We've gotten licked by the Miami Heat. Right? Pain in the ass teams for the New York Knicks. And we got licked by the Milwaukee Bucks, who are led by Giannis. Right? And those rumors, I mean, it's not rumors anymore, but stuff just keeps coming out more and more regarding that. So, man. Yuri says, not worried about that Josh Hart vid. Is giving me vibes that he's becoming a cancer. I hope I'm wrong. Yeah. Look, Yuri, I hope you're wrong too. But I don't like the vibes from Josh Hart right now. We need to get his head back in the game. And if it's just, hey, I don't like my role off the bench. I don't like this new bench role. I don't know what to tell you, Josh. I don't. Because it's going to take some time with this new starting 5. Mitch just got back, right? Mike Brown is still experimenting. I wouldn't put it past Mike Brown to maybe start a Josh Hart to kind of pick him up if this downward trend continues. I wouldn't want that because Josh Hart is the answer off the bench. But hey, there's a reason why we paid him and extended him. We need him to be the Josh Hart that we know. And look, we know he's a bad shooter. And I don't think it's going to improve. But if it doesn't, you're going to see fans say, trade this guy. I don't want this guy on my team anymore. I'm already seeing it. Trade Josh Hart. I don't want him on my team anymore. Because somebody that's getting paid $20 million a year off the bench should be playing better, guys. He should not have a stat line like that. He shouldn't. If he's hurt, you re-injured your finger, you didn't reveal how you re-injured your finger, sit. Get the surgery. Sit. Get the surgery. Right? So, man. El Figure says, Josh isn't the only player playing like trash. No, yeah, you're right. Inconsistencies from the bench, right? Inconsistencies from Clarkston. Karl-Anthony Towns defensively, inconsistent. From Cat. Brunson, the captain. Yes, he has been playing well, but he needs to take it upon himself to get the offense going and get his teammates involved. And be the leader now. Look, you dropped 3 straight. You're scoring enough points. I'm not concerned about that. But the captain needs to take it upon himself and start to get control over this thing before, I don't foresee it raveling, but because we're so talented, but still. Again, I don't want to overreact here, but guys need to step up, and everyone needs to step up. Everybody needs to step up. Yabusele, $6 million this year, player option next year for $6 million. Haven't gotten our money's worth for Yabusele yet. 3 minutes tonight. Again, that's due to injury, which is fine. I hope he's okay. But come on. Come on, guys. Man, oh, man. Appreciate you guys in the chat once again. Knicks lose 135-125 to the Chicago Bulls on this Halloween night. I actually missed the first quarter. Was trick-or-treating, out and about trick-or-treating with my daughter and with the family, and missed the first quarter. And it seemed like that second quarter wasn't great for the New York Knicks. And then Mikal Bridges hits that, heave 3, and I'm like, wow, something goes well for this team. But the Knicks got down in a blink against this Chicago Bulls team. They could not keep up with the pace whatsoever. And especially in that third, I really thought the tide was turning in that third quarter, because that's when the pace slowed. Karl-Anthony Towns, in my opinion, in that third quarter was really good for this team. Even defensively, you saw him with the block and with the save in that third quarter, right? And the Knicks would creep back. I believe they got it all the way down to like 3 or 2. And the Chicago Bulls would just answer every single time. They would just answer the bell every single time. And that's effort. The effort plays were favoring Chicago. The Knicks defense was struggling with their cutting and their, quick movements. And the Bulls are just faster than the Knicks, right? Both in transition and in the half court. And it's everything the Knicks want to be, the Bulls are right now. They're fast and efficient, right? So we got to get it together, though. We do. D Black says $6 million for Yabu. Are we paying by the pound? Oh man. Wayne says, when we got it to 2, I thought we had it. Yep. I thought we did have it too. I thought the tide was definitely turning there. Felt like the tide was turning there for the New York Knickerbockers, and unfortunately, they just could not get the job done. El Figgy says, how about our players stop fouling every single minute? Yeah, they called one of the worst foul calls I saw was on OG Anunoby tonight. He didn't foul him. They called a foul on OG when the guy just ran into him and fell on the ground, and they called OG Anunoby for a foul, and OG was like, what? A lot of stoppages tonight. Bulls wasted their 2 challenges on what I thought was terrible challenges. Knicks actually won their challenge. Cat actually stayed out of foul trouble tonight, for the New York Knicks. And it's the flow, man. The flow of these games are just not pretty. And then, look, it's 5 games in, but I don't like the way this is trending right now. And it's okay to point at things, right? I don't I don't like, we just got our guys back, right? So this was essentially game one of everybody healthy. Yet Yabusele 3 minutes. Mitch is still not all the way in game shape. 20 minutes for Mitch. It's still trying to figure out the rotations. No Josh Hart in the fourth. He's playing like crap. He is. You know, and it's just a bad one, guys. It's just a bad one. They're figuring shit out. They're figuring shit out. They're now winless on the road, which you don't like, right? You play the Chicago Bulls again on Sunday in Madison Square Garden. And you lose a cup game if you guys care about the NBA Cup. So take that for what you will. Pacers stink. Say the rest were letting Chicago big move on like every screen. Nobody can get close to AU. Dude's a good player, man. Sumu killed us last year. And look, Bulls got Bull. It's teams like Chicago in which you kind of like want to you enjoy watching a team like that play. And it's because and that's why people fell in love with the Pacers, is because the ball was constantly moving, and Josh Giddey was just an insane game tonight. Like, your team doesn't really have any holes. I mean, you're still missing that guy, but they play as a team and they play as a unit. And they play fast. And I don't know. The Bulls, they're 5-0. Again, still super early, but hey, there's a reason why they're 5-0. And you're allowing Josh Giddey to score 32, 10, and 9. Guys, that's crazy. I like Josh Giddey too. I think people are underrating him. Crazy finisher at the rim, crazy vision, really good player in my opinion. And the Knicks just didn't have an answer for him. He was their engine. Right? He was their oil to the engine. And then you have Herder, the shooter off the bench. Sumu's playing amazing for them off the bench. And right now, the Knicks don't have any of this right now. Right? They don't. And we'll see if they can overcome these injuries from Yabu. Hopefully he can sustain some rhythm coming up here. But we'll see. Joel says, how many games until we hit the panic button? How many games until we hit the panic button? I'm going to say, you see, the Indiana Pacers last year, I'm talking about the Indiana Pacers a lot, right? They started off terrible, and then they made it all the way to the NBA Finals. It's the reason why we can't really go crazy over these like starts, because the Pacers last year, everyone was counting them out. Like, oh, Pacers stink. I think they started. They were like under 500 after 20 games, and everyone was writing them off. And then they started to hit their stride, and I feel like that's gonna happen with this Knicks team eventually. I feel like we're not okay right now, and that's okay, and it's good to panic, but I feel like this Knicks team isn't really going to hit their stride until January, February. And then if they decide that we might need some consolidation and might need to get another talent off the bench, because what we have right now or in January, February isn't cutting it, they have options to do so. So to answer your question, I'm going to give it 20 games. I'm going to give it 20 games and see where the New York Knicks are at after 20 games, right? But of course, if the New York Knicks lose their next 7-8 games, then it's time to panic. I don't foresee that happening though. HRM said this game was closer than everyone thinks. 5 more turnovers and they had 11 more free throws. Yeah, they pulled through at in the fourth quarter there. Tony says the Knicks will win more games when they realize that OG and Mikel can close the game. It doesn't have to be Brunson and Cat in a given night. A lot of staggering between Brunson and Cat tonight, which we saw. And Cat was operating in that third quarter without Jalen Brunson really, really well for the New York Knicks. And maybe that gets him going. You know, maybe that's the trick to it all. Because we saw good things from Karl-Anthony Towns in that third quarter. In fact, I want to pull up his exact stat line in that third quarter. from the big cat. Karl Anthony Towns in the third quarter, 15 points, 5 rebounds, plus minus plus 15, 4-6 from the field, 7-7 from the free throw line. 2 offensive rebounds, 3 rebounds, 82% true shooting percentage. Great third quarter for Cat. Only 2 points in the fourth. And most of that time in that third was without Jalen Brunson. So, El Figgy says, look, we can handle the Bulls, their first loss Sunday. Maybe this is the adversity we need to build on. Now let's see what this team is made of. Well said. 25 points off turnovers and gave them too many free throw points. Yep, transition defense wasn't where it needs to be again for the New York Knicks. And it seems like the reason why I'm a little bit concerned, guys, is some of the same concerns that we had last year with the New York Knicks we're seeing this year. Mike Brown comes in here saying we want to play fast. This Knicks team isn't built to play like that. They're not. They're not built to play like that, in my opinion. Right? Transition defense still isn't where it needs to be. And they just integrated a new system last month. So we'll see how it turns out. But I personally don't think they have the personnel to play like an Indiana team, to play like Chicago played like tonight. Right? They like to slow things down and play at their pace. Right? So we'll see if that changes. Wayne says, I'm wondering if Brown is trying too hard to be the anti-Thibs with his excessive rotations. I wouldn't say that. I think he's just trying stuff out, Wayne. It's still super early. He's trying to see what works, trying to see what doesn't work. He's not thinking about Tom Thibodeau in the middle of the game like, oh, I'm going to play another guy because Thibs wouldn't. I don't think that's the case. I just think it's Mike Brown trying to figure out this team and trying to figure out what rotations work, what don't. Get a big enough sample size to go to certain lineups and play that lineup longer, right? Damn, Jalen Brunson sounded defeated on postgame. We'll get to the postgame comments soon. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Once again, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I see the postgame call-in show. I see Yuri and I see Say Quizzy waiting in the postgame call-in lobby. Those of you just joining, you can hit up the post-game call-in show. Let me pin this up in the chat right now. I think I forgot to. My apologies, but hit up the Knicks Nation Discord. We got a lot of fun things happening on the Knicks Nation Discord. So let me just pin this up in the chat for you guys so you guys can join the Discord. But yeah, Knicks lose. Tough one. There it is. Discord, pin message. And look, Isaiah says, wonder what excuses will Mike Brown is going to come up with this time. Wow, strong words from Isaiah. You Knicks fans always complain when Brunson shoots a lot, and now you're upset that he didn't shoot enough. I don't think anyone said that. I haven't said that. I don't know if you're talking to somebody in the chat. Let us know. But Brunson's trying to figure out the system as well. So Pacers thinks that, I don't know. Knicks played a little terrible game and still cut it to 2 at one point. Bulls aren't that good in my opinion. I wouldn't say that. Look, Bulls are 5-0. They're, playing as a team, playing as a unit. And yes, they have some new pieces, but they're deep. And Josh Giddey's playing at a really good level. Jassoum was playing at a really good level for the Chicago Bulls. So, you can't just say 5-0 is 5-0. Right? 5-0 is 5-0. But it's still super early. We'll see. The Deuce McBride is our best pick POA defender. Talking point has grown old on me. Our bench is short, and we are watching the league get taller and more athletic. Point of attack defender. Look, Deuce brings a lot of good things to this team, right? But size isn't one of them. And, maybe that's what this New York Knicks team needs off the bench. More size, a wing, an upgrade, condensing a couple of players. Like maybe we get to February and we're just like, guys, this bench isn't a championship level bench, right? People are saying that now. Like maybe we get to that point and we're like, guys, we need a little, like Clarkson and Yabo, they're not like what we thought. Maybe we get to that point, and Leon Rose has shown that he'll strike if the right deal is out there. So, again, 5 games in, there's some cracks in this new system. There are concerns right now, but I'm not panicking at all from this New York Knicks team, right? Take care of home court, which they have done. They beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. They beat the Boston Celtics. And at times, they look really good in those games, right? So, let's get a winning streak going, guys. Let's get a winning streak going. Isaiah says, the only reason why I say that is because he said the same stuff the past couple of post games, it feels like. I haven't heard his post games. Let me try to, I'm scared to open up my timeline right now because it's just bombs going off right now on Twitter. Look, somebody says Josh Hart needs to really think about getting the surgery on his finger. Take the next couple of months off before he completely loses his spot in the rotation. At least he'll have an excused absence. That is from Papa Left on Twitter. I don't think Josh Hart will lose his spot in the rotation. But some Knicks news right now. What is the New York Knicks picked up the 2026-2027 rookie scale team option on 2024 first-round pick Pacom Daddier. Okay. Knicks news. All right, let's see if we can No post-game talk. All right, let's get to the Discord before the guys lose their crap. Once again, appreciate you guys in the chat. Call-in show. As always. Call-in show. Let's get to the Discord. Let me add this. Appreciate you guys in the chat. As always. Sorry, having some technical difficulties here on the Discord. All right. There we go. Boom. All right, we're going to the Discord. Let's get to Yuri first in the Discord. Yuri, if you are ready, let me know. Yuri, what's going on? You are live.
Yo,
Yuri, what's going on? How we feeling? Knicks lose 135-125 against the Chicago Bulls. What you got?
I'm not worried about it. Again, game 5 out of game 82. It's only game 5, but there was definitely a lot of problems that has to be solved. Bench MIA. Starters actually did pretty decently. Cat, defensive liability. Again, it's Cat. Got him for his offense, not his defense. The one thing that is bugging me is I know Mitch just got back and that was his first rotation. I didn't like the rotating for Mitch minutes, man. I didn't.
You did not like the rotation for Mitch minutes in his first game back?
Yeah, no. I felt like he could have been out just a little bit longer because when Mitch was in that rotation, when the Knicks were making a run in,
yeah,
and he got taken out, the three started being open again.
Yeah.
Again, first game back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're managing his minutes.
20 minutes for Mitch. First game back, he looked exhausted out there at times, managing his minutes, still trying to figure that out. So I wouldn't look into that too much tonight, Yuri, but I get it. I understand it.
I'm really concerned about Josh Hart, though.
Yeah.
Seeing that video, man, I don't want to be that guy that worries about the Knicks, right? If Josh Hart's becoming a cancer in the locker room, you got to cut it off. I'm sorry.
So do you guys think Josh Hart will become a cancer in the locker room? You guys think he'll pout? He'll shout because he's not starting anymore and he lost his favorite coach in Tom Thibodeau. If that's the case, yeah, get him out of here. I don't want to hear it. This is a championship level. This is a championship season. We don't need any of that. You get paid $20 million, Yuri. $20 million a year.
I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I do. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hope I'm wrong. But like I said, I'm holding the players more accountable than the coach this year. You know, I might not like the rotations, but JB, 7 assists? Man, I need you to at least make it 9 assists. Cat, I need you to stop flicking G's when it's not your shot's not falling. I don't care if you're playing injured. No excuses on your end. Clarkson, stop putting up dumbass shots. For one, even though that's what we brought you here for. When you're hot, you're hot. When you're cold, you're cold. Yeah. Who else doesn't get slack tonight? Oh yeah. Hart, my man. I need you to start looking at the basket. Again, game 5 82. Not worried. And it's obvious the team is really frustrated trying to understand Mike Brown's system.
Yeah.
You know, I expected a slow start.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
They are.
I wasn't too high on the wins, but I wasn't too high on the losses neither. I'm right in the middle. Frustrating start after 2-0, promising, you know what I mean? But we all knew young athletic teams give the Knicks problems.
And they still do, it seems like. And that's what I said. It's a problem because we're seeing some of the same things that we saw last year with this unit that killed this unit, especially against the Pacers. So,
right.
Young athletic teams, they hurt the New York Knicks because, say what you want, they're not that, athletic. So, Yuri, appreciate it.
Listen, I'm not worried about it, though. I liked positives was that it looks like the Knicks are starting.
Yuri got swallowed up there. Yuri, you there?
Yeah, no, my dad was calling me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to end my interview there.
All right. Appreciate the call, Yuri. Say Quizzy, what's going on? Knicks lose 125-135 to the Chicago Bulls. What you got?
What's up, man?
What's up, man?
Tough L, but I'm gonna just cool down. It's only 5 games. Don't panic. You got to think about Cavs win. I believe they start the season 14-0, and they lost in the second round. Just remember that. Like right now, I'm happy they're going through things early. Like the only thing that concerns me right now is the bench.
Yeah.
Because right now, Yabu haven't showed anything. I won't give Josh Hart like a pass, but we know what he could do. We don't know what Yabu could do. We seen Shamit score 16 for us. We still need to see a little bit more from Clarkson. I ain't gonna lie about that. But we need Josh Hart to look at the rim at least. I'm tired of them giving him the ball. He goes in the mid-range and then looks for Brunson. Just shoot a mid-range or something. You got to do something. I haven't seen like a fast break from Josh Hart yet, and that's usually what he loves to do, and I haven't seen it. Yeah. And then he's kind of getting killed on defense too. Like I seen the Bulls tag him a lot, or they went up. Like when we cut it a little bit, they went back up every time Josh Hart got back in the game. But hopefully the bench could play better.
Yeah, man.
But the Knicks got to figure out how to stop fast teams and how to get back in transition. Because those first 2 quarters, everything felt like the Bulls had a fast break. Even when we was on defense, it felt like a fast break. They was moving the ball around. I seen 3 shooting guards or small forwards get open layups over a dump off from the center. So they got to figure out how to stop that. They played better in the third to come back, but can they do that for a full game? That's the problem. If they could do that for a full game, it wouldn't be a blowout then. But everybody got to chill. Y'all got to remember, when Brunson first came, you got to think about this stat. When Brunson first came to the Knicks, we never won our first game until we played the Cavs. But if you think about it, I think we played the Grizzlies the first game Brunson ever came, we lost, and we played Boston twice and we lost those. But we always go on a slow start, even with Tibbs. I remember when Brunson first came, Tibbs was on a hot seat.
We started
in
5-6, I think, last year, something like that.
Yeah, Brunson. I think Tibbs was on a hot seat starting early when Brunson first came.
I remember that OKC game where they blew us out in the Garden, and everyone was talking about Tom Thibodeau getting fired. I remember that too. Yep.
Yeah, you got to think about, we always start slow, But then every year we go on like a 10-game, 8-game winning streak later on. Once we get around the 16 games, 20 games, around there, we'll start going on our streaks. So y'all got to remember that. But hopefully the bench get better, but that's all I really got to say.
Hey, appreciate the call, say Quizzy. Really good call. Preaching patience to the New York Knicks fan base. And yeah, the New York Knicks they normally start slow. Last year, I think they started 5-5 through 10. And it only takes until like January when the New York Knicks hit their stride. So, Jerry, you got something else?
Yeah, no, I wanted to finish my thought. Listen, I'm going to preach patience as well.
Yeah.
You know, I'm holding the players a lot more accountable this year than the coach.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
You know, the team's frustrated. The growing pains is real. You know what I mean? It's real. You could just see it.
It is real.
I'm not a body police. You know that.
Yeah.
But I could just tell they're growing frustrated that they can't understand Mike Brown's system. Not yet, at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to give it a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yuri, appreciate the call as always.
No problem.
Yeah, look, the players are frustrated right now. That's clear. That especially Hart. And I see you guys in the chat. El Figgy says Josh Hart hurts us because he's not an offensive threat out there, so any team is gonna double or triple team JB. Chris says Josh Hart not looking to score is hurting this team. Yeah, I'm sure if you asked 80% of Knicks fans if you could replace Josh Hart with somebody more dynamic that can score and that can defend and is bigger, you're doing that, right? The Knicks kind of need Josh Hart to they do need Josh Hart to just pick it up right now. And if it's the finger, if it's his new role, I mean, you can point to many different things. You could be frustrated for him, and that's okay. But eventually, you're seeing it all over. You're seeing all Knicks fans right now point the finger at Josh Hart. No pun intended, because his finger's hurt. But why did you re-injure your finger in the offseason? Why didn't you, what happened? We still don't even know what happened. Like that, I'm sure the Knicks weren't thrilled about that, guys. He re-injured the same finger. So, a lot of moving parts right now, and yes, I want to kind of fall on the say Quizzy take in preaching patience. This New York Knicks team always seems to start slow, and especially we should have known this was going to happen this year because you're integrating a new system, a new coach. But at some point, these guys got to start playing with more effort and more intensity defensively. You had 4 starters and scored 20 points, right, if I'm not mistaken, tonight. You should be able to win that game. Anunoby 26, Towns 22, Mikal 23, Brunson 29. You should win that game 9 times out of 10. And today was the only time you should have, you lost it. But we're not seeing anything from Yershon Yabusele, right? $12 million. Not seeing anything. He's hurt right now. Jordan Clarkson is at times you can see why he got waived. At times he looks bad. Defensively, he's not that great as is. But he's Jordan Clarkson, right? And you're just, the bench is just figuring stuff out. El Figgy says, is Quentin Grimes available? Man, to have him on this team, right? Boy, oh boy. So it's still super early, guys. And, I want to preach patience, but at the same time, I do have some concerns, especially with Mr. Josh Hart. Did not like the body language there from Mr. Josh Hart. Let's see if we can get some audio from you guys from the Knicks post game, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this up on this Halloween night. The New York Knicks finish the Halloween night on a loss, so that's unfortunate. Let's see if I can get some post game sound. Computer's a little acting up right now. I don't see anything. All right, so see some quotes. All right. See if I can get some post-game quotes, comments. Busy in the post-game. Yes, Knicks picked up. All right, so Mike Brown, it's real simple tonight. We lack the physicality we want to have and have had. We were getting blown by possession after possession. Said there was no help either. Brown on the bench. I thought Landry had great looks. I thought Deuce had great looks. I thought Jordan had decent looks. We have to give it time before I'm too worried about it. All right. So look, he said give it a month. We're gonna give it a month. But if it in a month, if it still looks like this, it's gonna be an issue. In a pressure packed year, it's gonna be an issue. El Figgy says not sure Cat's making the All-Star team this season. Mikal might. Guys, I want to take a moment and really shine on the season that Mikal Bridges has had for this New York Knicks team, right? The lone, like, Brunson has been awesome, right? But Mikal has been phenomenal for this basketball team. Phenomenal. He's looked awesome. Like awesome. 3 straight 20-plus point games. Efficient as hell. He's shooting 47% from 3. More aggressive. 91% at the free throw line. Dishing. Playing great defense. 38 minutes tonight. 9 of 14. Like, I honestly want him to shoot like 17, 18 times. Like, he's playing that good. Like, I need him to have the ball more in his hands because Mikal is playing absolutely incredible for this basketball team right now. And just want to shine some light on him because he'll probably getting lost a little bit, but Mikal's just playing really good for this team. Different player. I even tweeted it. I said, different player. Looks like a totally different player. Chris says Mitch looked hurt. I don't know why coach isn't playing Huck or Trey Jameson more. At times, Mitch did look hurt. Mitch did look hampered. And they're still saying it's injury management. So that's what they're saying. Once again, appreciate you guys in the chat as always. Patience thinks says Hart is complaining. Cat is complaining. Did you see Brunson's post-game interview? No, I didn't. Hold on. Let me see if I'm really trying to get that for you guys. I don't see any audio. All right, here we go. I got it.
Basketball was not good in the first half. We were getting blown by possession after possession after possession, and guys were finishing at the rim with no help defense there. And if we did bring help, they sprayed the ball like they play, and we didn't get the shooters. We didn't close with a purpose and get to their airspace to make them uncomfortable shooting the basketball. So our defense tonight, in the first half especially, in the second half we were a little better, was non-existent, and it starts with guarding the basketball. We have to be better guarding the basketball. And
simple basketball. We have to be better at guarding the basketball. Simple. Something the Knicks aren't doing right now.
I'm going to keep telling them the truth. I'm going to keep coaching them. I have to keep trying to put them in the best possible position to win. Okay, but we also.
Sorry, little technical difficulty there. So yeah, that's little Mike Brown comments. I don't have the Jalen Brunson audio. I tried to get that to you guys, but I'm trying to find it, and I just can't find it. But yeah, supposedly he sounded frustrated, and he should be frustrated. Everyone on this basketball team should be frustrated because the New York Knicks are better than this, and they should be playing better than what they are playing currently. But tough night in Chicago. Hopefully we can get it done on Sunday against the Chicago Bulls. This Rover says, hey, remember when Josh was saying the last thing last season about not knowing his role on the team? Yep. El Figgy says, I expect Mike Brown to get out coached by Eric Spoelstra, but the Bucks and the Bulls? Come on now. Yeah, El Figgy, it's tough to judge, especially this early. You know, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but we need to start seeing some things from that bench. I need to start seeing some consistency from Yabusele, Clarkson, Hart. I need to start seeing some consistency on the defensive end. Cat is bad defensively, guys. He's bad. God, can we all agree on that? Like, I'll go over the tape for you guys, the members. I post the videos on the members. Like, I'll go over the games. And Cat, I don't know what he's doing on that side. Had a great block tonight. The thing is, he's so big. And even in college, like, he wasn't this bad in college. Like, Cat is they attack him. They hunt him for a reason. So maybe the starting of Mitchell Robinson will help him, but just got to be better all around. Got to be better all around for the New York Knicks. Once again, appreciate you guys in the chat. Subscribe to the channel, all the good stuff. Yeah, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your Friday night, enjoy the rest of it, and let's go Knicks. Let's get it done on Sunday, guys. Let's get it done on Sunday. Be on the lookout for more content. Knicks Nation YouTube channel, Knicks Nation on Instagram. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, at Knicks Nation. Really simple. On YouTube, subscribe. As always, appreciate the members in here. As always, El Figgy, Isaiah. Appreciate the members in here. As always, thank you for becoming a member. Joseph, Jinsight, appreciate the members in here. Really do. So we'll get them next time, right? We'll get them Sunday. Sunday, you got a revenge time in Madison Square Garden. Revenge time in Madison Square Garden. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your night. I'm Anthony. I'm out of here. Peace.